Gonna go ahead and go live. Tornadic thunderstorms. We'll go ahead and share this too. All right, so we are live. I'm gonna make sure the audio sounds good. Real quickly, wanted to shout out at the start of this stream, right? That hang on one second, making sure my audio and everything sounds good. Let's go ahead and see. Yep, sounds good. All right. Alright, audio, everything sounds good. Summer's here, 96 degrees. So yeah, trust me, that's it's gonna be absolutely cooking. So I wanted to give a real quick shout out and thank you to Jimmy, who's a member of Corn Belt Chasers. I'm also a member of Corn Belt Chasers, and he allowed me to use his picture from Nebraska. And we'll go ahead and pull that up on the stream here in just a second. So here we go. This should show. Whoops. Didn't mean to show the stream thing there, but there we go. That is actively in Nebraska less than a half hour ago. And again, that is from Jimmy, who is Jimmy Sinecki. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his last name, but he's a member of the Corn Belt Chasers, and so am I, and really appreciate him sending that into us. So we're gonna go ahead and turn the watches off just so we can get a little clearer picture of what's going on here. Right now we are actively looking at tornadic supercells here in Nebraska. This is right on the southern tip of Nebraska, actually heading into Kansas now. Marysville, Kansas, Okedo, Kansas, Betty, Kansas. You guys are all under the gun for these tornadic storms, which are going to be moving in your way. And behind these, we have more tornadic storms near Omaha, Nebraska, just east of Lincoln, Nebraska as well. So very active day. And wow, tight rotation here. Just north of Herkimer, Kansas. Wow, okay. So just for some people who may not understand what we're looking at here on the right side of the screen where my mouse is, this is velocity, so this gives us an X-ray into the storm. For people who already understand, I know this is going to probably be pretty annoying to hear, and I'm going to say it multiple times throughout the night, but velocity gives us a picture of the winds from inside a storm. So our radar is located down here, right? It's to the south of where the storm currently is. And green shows us wind speed going towards the radar. Red shows us wind speed going away from the radar. Obviously, where we have the two of these meeting is a chance of having a tornado on the ground. The stronger those wind speeds are and the tighter together they are, the more likelihood we have a tornado on the ground. Another way we can confirm a tornado is with correlation coefficient. Now, these storms are going to be prone to producing a lot of hail. So correlation coefficient is going to be really messy because hail will cause correlation coefficient to throw up signals like this. But yeah, let's go ahead and full screen this velocity real quick. Man, yeah, look at that's very strong, pretty tight velocity. We'll go ahead and see if there are any spotters. Jeff Petrowski, wow, he's right on this thing. He's in the notch of this storm as it's moving south. Active warnings. We do have 3 tornado warnings. I'm gonna have to update the active warning count to 3. There we go. We have 3 active warnings. This is already a lot more of an active day than the last stream I did. So yeah. Are you gonna do more live streams? Because Wednesday looks concerning for me. I'm gonna try to do live streams whenever I'm available. Obviously, I'm out of college right now, doing a lot of working, and really I'm just trying to stream and do videos and stuff while I'm not working. So I work an overnight shift tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm not going to be able to be streaming for all night, but I should be able to stream at least for the next 2 to 3 hours. So much longer than the last stream we just had earlier this week. All right, let's not get too tunnel visioned. Obviously, we have very tight rotation. Let's go ahead and call out some areas. Okedo, Kansas, you're under the gun for a very, very wide and strong mezzo here on radar. You guys should definitely be aware right now. Be in your safe shelters. Herkimer, definitely on the eastern side of Herkimer, near this this north-south state route, highway, whatever it might be. You guys should be taking shelter right now as well. Now let's go ahead and move up to these storms up here near Omaha. And we can see both of these storms have broad areas of rotation. They're not tight, but that could definitely be become a concern as the night goes on. And again, we do have a broad area of rotation in this storm, but nothing that convinces us that a tornado is imminent. We do have a report of rotation, rotating wall cloud, lifted for now, keeps dropping, mostly scud around it, rotation. So but yeah, I'm gonna try to stream as often as I can. Wednesday might be a day I could stream because I do get off work at a very manageable time on Wednesday. So yeah, it's a day that I definitely could hop on, you know, and stream for a little bit. Sorry, I'm going to be answering a couple text messages throughout the stream, but believe me, I'm trying to focus on the severe weather as much as possible for everybody who's going to be watching. So we'll go ahead and flip back down here to the southern storm because this is the most concerning storm out of all of them so far. Get back to reflectivity. Right. Tornado warning continues for Kansas. Obviously, we have this army of storms here in Kansas, so yeah, this is a strange looking supercell. It's definitely very messy. You're not going to be able to see anything if you are if you're in these storms. Wow. Okedo, you guys definitely need to be in your shelters right now. You need to be in your safe spaces. Very important that you guys heed that. Now, from the southern radar, it is a little bit glitchy, but you can see that there might be a hint of rotation here on the southern radar. That looks a little bit more convincing than the closer radar. And the closer radar could look a little bit more strange because when you're in such close proximity to these storms, you're scanning the storms at a much lower height, right? If you think about a radar's beam, the beam goes out at an angle upwards. So as it gets farther away from the radar, you're scanning higher and higher up into the sky. Or higher up into the atmosphere, you know. We'll go ahead and look on Twitter, see if we can find. Wow. Okay, so Freddie McKinney, he's currently on that storm there in Marysville. So we will go ahead and check out his post here. We can see quite the storm there that he's on. Also, that cell that we were looking at in Nebraska that had some interesting looking rotation. Here it is. You can see that flat updraft base with a little bit of scud, right? This is what happens. You get these flat updraft bases, and as the storm taps into that deeper moisture, its surface base will become lowered. You'll get a wall cloud. You'll get a development of just that base will gradually get lowered to the ground as that storm really gets that moisture from the surface. Go ahead and switch back to the radar scope here. We have a report of 4-inch hail that initially came from Beatrice, Nebraska. I assume that was this storm. Yeah, Beatrice right here. That was what this storm did earlier. It was producing some massive hail. Let's go ahead and get on the other radar. So I would say the one positive of this storm is because it's very HP. You notice how we have like very scattered areas of potential rotation where this storm is. So I didn't get an alert when you went live, and I have the bell clicked. Yet sometimes that happens with YouTube. I don't know why, but yeah, I appreciate that you're in here checking it out. Sometimes that happens with YouTube where I've uploaded videos and people have said like, well, I have notifications turned on and I never got a notification. But yeah, we actually this was kind of a surprise, but here in Indiana as well, we did have a supercell earlier, and you can see it's still here. There's rotation in this storm. Near Lafayette, Indiana, northwest of Indianapolis, you can see it does have some rotation. Green going towards the radar, red going away. Obviously, this is not a very strong mesocyclone whatsoever, but still, we have a supercell in Indiana on, I believe, no severe risk outlined for Indiana at all today. We're still watching this storm moving south now. This could be a little bit of a glitch on the inflow, but right here, just south of Oketo, if this is not a radar glitch and this is true, we have very strong wind moving into this storm, coupled with wind going towards the radar, so your wind cycling out of our storm here. That the inflow values right here are absolutely cranking if that's true. That's 80, 90 mile an hour winds absolutely flying into this supercell. And this thing is major high precipitation supercell. There's no way you're going to be able to see a tornado in here if it is on the ground. Although, who knows, if chasers get close enough, they may be able to get a peek. Now we can see both of these storms here. These are the storms a little bit farther north near Omaha and Lincoln, Nebraska. You can see these storms taking on more of a cyclonic curvature here. It looks like you've almost got a little bit of an outflow boundary coming out of this. But yeah, we have cyclonic curvature here and more cyclonic curvature showing up on this southern storm as well. Both of these storms have rotation, but it's not tight enough or strong enough rotation to really warrant a tornado warning at this time. One of my Friends from the group chat is saying that it looks like there might be a wall cloud in Indiana. If I'm reading that correctly. Oh, 30 minutes ago, this was an observed tornado. I did not realize that. A half hour ago, this was a confirmed tornado. Oh, wow. Very high values right here. Let's go ahead and look at these tornado warnings. This is radar indicated. And radar indicated a spotter reported a brief tornado. That's over an hour ago, but that was from the same storm. So we know this storm's capable of producing tornadoes, and we can see this area of very strong rotation right now. You see wind going away, wind going towards, and this is where our area of rotation is. If not too many people get tuned in tonight, I will probably hop off a little bit earlier than planned, just because I have to work an overnight shift tonight, and I will probably gonna try to sleep at least a little bit before that overnight shift, so that way I can survive my job until 7 in the morning when I get off. But everybody that does tune in, if you could like and share this, I'd greatly appreciate that. I hope that my stream can not only educate, entertain, but also hopefully inform and save potential lives from severe weather. So it really helps out the YouTube algorithm. But thank you very much. So again, we do have a little bit of cyclonic curvature with this storm, where we have a mesocyclone here. Now the area of this mesocyclone, you can see when I highlight this and you look at the reflectivity, these storms are probably very visible. They probably have a very clean updraft. You can probably very low precipitation. And same with this storm. You can see the meso is, you've got a good mile or two of just clean air right where this mesocyclone is. But now if we go back down south to the storms near Oquito, Maryville, I mean, look at this big blob of rain, and then you have little areas of rotation inside of it. And actually, this area of rotation is definitely of concern. If we highlight this storm and we draw an area where that little bulges right there, that is right where our mesocyclone is of this storm. So we are down to only one active warning, it seems. So we'll go ahead and switch this now down to one active warning. Again, thank you everybody who's tuning in and watching. I greatly appreciate that. Ask questions, comments, whatever you want to in the chat. I'm trying to inform as many people as possible, educate and entertain, ultimately, jack of all trades, right? But yeah, we can see this storm actually is kind of, I don't know, it's developing a hook on it. You can see right here it's developing a hook, and probably just needs deeper moisture to become more rooted to the surface, more surface based ultimately, and it will likely start producing. Let's go ahead and check out the storms here in Iowa. We've got these storms here, which are not doing a ton as of yet, but we'll give them time. Give them time. Okay. We're going to go ahead and check out Twitter again, see if there's any new pictures. So Jeff Petrowski just reported on Twitter that it is a rain-wrapped tornado. There is damage confirmed. Heading now into Kansas. Yep. Confirmed damage. Lordy, all right. So it looks like that's it should be a confirmed tornado. Actually, I don't. Okay, the tornado warning's back. Near Marysville, Kansas. It's going just east of you. You do have a monster supercell over you if you're in any of these towns: Herkimer, Hanover, Marysville, BT, Okido. My gosh, man. Blue Rapids is downstream. Frankfurt, you're downstream of this storm as well. So just to reiterate again, what we're looking at on the right side of my screen where my mouse is, this is velocity. This is wind that is moving away from our radar, and this is wind moving towards our radar. So obviously, where the two of these meet is an area of rotation and an area where a tornado can form. The stronger and tighter those velocity scans or velocity, the velocity scans are to each other, the more likelihood we have a tornado on the ground. Now, Jeff Petrowski did just report on Twitter that there was a confirmed tornado. 5 minutes ago, he confirmed that there is damage heading towards Marysville, I believe. Tornado Highway 77. So that has to be this highway. So there was damage right off of this highway right here, just west of Okido, north of Marysville. And now that area of rotation is entering just the eastern parts of Marysville. Luckily, there's not a lot of population centers out here. There's not a lot of people, cities, towns. However, still a tornado. If it's not impactful for you or for a large city, it could impact just one person, and it could be life-threatening. So it's very important that we try to cover these things. So, but yeah, east of Marysville, if you know anybody who lives out here who may be driving out here, anything really, please let them know. This is massive area of rotation with this thunderstorm near Marysville. Let's go ahead and look back north. This is near Lincoln and Omaha, Nebraska. Lincoln and Omaha, you do have these supercells which are now developing very clear hooks. Wow, look at the hook on this storm. That's very classic-y, classic supercell shaped. And then this one here up near Omaha has a little bit more of just this tail-like appendage, right? And if that gets a little tighter, a little more oriented east, this thing could also be looking at producing. Both of these things do have rotation, but not tight areas of rotation. So we'll be keeping an eye on those, but we won't necessarily be worried about a tornado threat in the very near future. All of the storms in Iowa look like they're struggling to get surface based. They're probably very high based storms, and they're struggling to really root to the surface, which is why they're not producing tornadoes. Along with the possibility of having a tornado here east of Marysville, you're going to have some massive confirmed tornado. Okay, so this is damaging tornado. Weather spotters confirmed a tornado less than 15 minutes ago now, roughly, 6 miles northwest of Okido. So, northwest of Okido. That is along the highway. That's probably from Jeff Petrowski's report that confirmed damage there. So, we are going to pretend that this is a tornado on the ground. Even though the rotation's not extremely convincing on radar right now, we are going to pretend just east of Marysville, this whole area right here, you need to be watched out. It's about to cross whatever this main highway is. You guys would know the east-west major road, major state route or highway from Marysville is right where it's crossing as we speak. We also have a supercell. That storm I talked about in Indiana, they are not even under a severe risk. Oh, wow. Wow. Look at this, folks. This is Marshall, Indiana. This is almost directly west-northwest of Indianapolis. That's very strong rotation. This is going towards the radar. This is wind going away. I would not be surprised if this thing had a nice low precipitation wall cloud. We can see this nice little notch on reflectivity of just the normal radar. Wow. Indiana on a zero risk day. Man, that's incredible. I cannot believe that. Yeah, and there's a chance this thing could produce a tornado right here, just north of Marshall, right along whatever this state route or highway is, just north of Marshall. Marshall, Indiana. Wow. That is surprising. And again, our rotation here in Kansas is still not as convincing as it used to be at one point. But oh wow, that supercell in Nebraska looks absolutely amazing. The Greenwood supercell, it's this supercell right here. Or wait a minute. Yes, the supercell right here. Man, those storms. These storms are really getting going here now. Again, we have rotation, but it's not super convincing rotation to introduce a tornado warning as of yet. I know sometimes the National Weather Service can be a little conservative on their warning process. And I actually made a video discussing that. Made a video discussing that from the tornadoes on June 8th, just last week in Ohio. How the National Weather Service can at times be a little conservative with issuing tornado warnings. So, gonna keep an eye on Twitter, like I said, trying to see if we can get any idea on what's going on with these storms. Man, some of the pictures are pretty incredible. Absolutely a mean supercell there, and that tracked through Beatrice and is in Kansas now. Storm Prediction Center has issued a new Day 2 outlook. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. See what they did. They expanded the tornado risk farther east. Okay. Additional convections forecast. Dude. Man, okay. Very interesting. Oh, man. Jeff Petrowski is in the core of this storm, tracking tornado in Kansas. Wow, there's supercells everywhere. Supercells in Indiana, supercells in Virginia, supercells in Nebraska, supercells in Kansas. We have storms everywhere today, folks. I mean, good lord. The rotation now moving southeast of Marysville. Lord. This is live from the storm in Kansas right now, Marysville. Major storm. Look at that. Look at that upper level like stacked plate. You have your lower base of the storm, which is anchored to that shear, and then this upper level. I mean, look, you can even see the area where that updraft is actually kind of causing a gap in the clouds there. Absolutely incredible. Incredible structure there for Jimmy. He's absolutely killing it today. Yeah, Jeff Petrowski is live streaming. He's right here, I believe. One of these two. It looks like he is just west of Marysville. Oh my gosh. I want you guys to look at this supercell. Look at this supercell, man. What a major supercell. Oh my gosh. And then, of course, right in here where you have that inflow screaming in here is where you can have those tornadoes. Look, if I open up, boom, that's right where your rotation is. Right where you could have a tornado. Wow, good lord. With rotation as wide as this, there's a chance we could have a large, very large tornado on the ground here. I mean, good lord. It wouldn't necessarily be extremely strong based off of our velocity we see on radar, but man, there's a chance this could be a large tornado. Let's go ahead and go back up here. Again, these storms are just struggling just a little bit with that deeper moisture, just with really getting surface based. I mean, this storm farther north is moving into all of the crap that's coming off of this supercell. So this supercell tracking southeast probably has the best chance if it remains discrete. We will see what comes of that. How are the storms doing in Iowa right now? Again, these storms are really struggling to get surface based as well. You can see there is no even discernible strong winds at all in any of these storms here in Iowa. Indicative of these storms struggling a little bit to become surface based. Let's go ahead and pull up. Okay. Jeff Petrowski's stream is no longer online. Tornado on the ground in Marysville via Freddie McKinney. Yep, tornado on the ground near Marysville. All right, Marysville, we have a tornado on the ground via a spotter report. Tornado on the ground. This is going to be just southeast of Marysville. Oh my gosh. This is a massive area of circulation as well. If this area in the middle here could be the entire tornado, this would be a very, very large tornado that would be on the ground here. But confirmed tornado on the ground that's moving through Marysville, Kansas. This thing's moving southeast and is just an absolute beast of a supercell. Look at this storm. Look at all those little white slashes are lightning bolts. And I mean, look at all of them all around here. It's absolutely incredible. This is one of the most incredible supercells we've seen so far this year. And wow, again, right here, just south of Marysville, just right off the highway, looks like a potentially stronger circulation is developing. So we could potentially have a stronger tornado on the ground here. But a tornado on the ground nonetheless. Yeah, confirmed tornado. Damaging confirmed tornado. And we know that Freddie McKinney, who is a becoming much more of a veteran chaser, is reporting damage. He's reporting extremely rain-wrapped tornado, almost completely impossible to see. We are watching this. Man, okay. If you guys know of anybody who might be out here in Kansas, or if you know of anybody who might benefit educationally or informationally from watching the severe weather coverage, then please let them know. Like, share the stream or whatever. It really does make a difference for a stream like this, because that's how the YouTube algorithm works. Oh, wow. Very strong rotation coming along the RFD of this. You can see our inflow here. This is wind speed moving away. Our RFD on the backside is absolutely ripping. Those values right there, those dark blue values, that's 100 miles an hour on the radar. Wow, 50 to 100 miles an hour gate-to-gate shear. Yeah. There's a chance we could have a pretty large rain-wrapped tornado here. My gosh, this thing could be this thing could be a mile wide. If this is actually on the ground, this whole thing could be a mile wide circulation. Probably a large multi-vortex, mile wide multi-vortex tornado. Could potentially be on the ground right now. Again, not confirmed. That's just a hypothetical based on radar analysis. Johnny G is on it. We are checking Twitter right now to see if there's any reports or anything. No changes on the news from Nebraska. Everybody's posting pictures of the incredible supercell structure. Man. But yeah, south of Marysville, Kansas, Blue Rapids, you're under the gun. I'm sure if you live in this area or have been in this area, you know where this highway comes down and forks into two. This tornado is going to be tracking directly south down the highway, basically onto that fork area. So, if you live there in Blue Rapids, you need to be taking cover. West of Frankfort, you guys should also be taking cover too if you live a couple miles west of Frankfort. And luckily, this is going to be heading into an area that looks like it's pretty dead. Not much in terms of civilization around here, but still, this is a very dangerous, significant supercell. This supercell has produced 4+ inch hail that's greater than baseball size hail, and has also produced a tornado, multiple tornadoes supposedly at this point, Marysville, and even west of Okido, and is very rain wrapped. I mean, oh my goodness. Okay, so you see right here where the radar is glitching out. This is most definitely a tornado on the ground, likely a strong tornado on the ground, what we're looking at. I'll let everybody know what we're looking at over here on the right side of the screen. As you can see at the top, this is our velocity. So this is giving us an X-ray into the thunderstorm. Red and these like yellowish colors here is wind moving away from the radar. This green and blue colors here is wind moving towards the radar. Obviously, where you have the two of these meet, this is rotation. And they just updated the warning. It is still observed. It's not a PDS warning, but yeah, it probably could be verified as a PDS warning given how powerful this mesocyclone is showing up on this supercell. This supercell is massive. Look at all the little lightning bolts here, and just how high precipitation this supercell is incredible. I would be willing to bet that there's no way anybody has any pictures of this tornado. I mean, look at this. Let's see, does correlation coefficient match up? No. So based on correlation coefficient, we don't have a damaging tornado on correlation coefficient, but there's not a lot of stuff out here in Kansas for this tornado to even hit. So we are still going to consider this a tornado on the ground. Blue Rapids, east of Blue Rapids, west of Frankfort, you guys need to be in your shelter. This, not only the tornado, but the RFD winds on the west side of this coming into Blue Rapids are likely going to be extremely intense. 60, 70, 80 mile an hour winds in this RFD. And then obviously here on the east side of this is where you're going to have the potential for having that tornado. It looks like the storm might be cycling. You have a lot of chasers here. These chasers have to be incredibly careful because they are in the heart of this right now. This is still, damaging. Still a confirmed damaging tornado. As of 10 minutes ago, this was a confirmed tornado. This thing is completely rain wrapped and likely pretty big. Like, let's go ahead and measure an area of very strong RFD to strong inflow. I mean, that's a 5-mile radius right here. The tornado is most definitely not 5 miles wide, but I'm just saying you could have a pretty wide a wide area of tornadic wind field that it just has occasional stronger vortices touching down, almost like similar to El Reno, right? That it was a very large tornado with just vortices touching down. How far are we from the radar? Yeah, we're moving much closer into radar range. So this tornado is moving into a range where our radar will be able to pick it up a lot easier. Again, Blue Rapids, you need to be in your shelter if you live in Blue Rapids, especially right here where the highway forks into a west and an east highway. You need to be in your shelters because this is a very strong, a very impressive mesocyclone on this storm. Like I said, this could have the potential to have a large tornado down, and pardon me, could potentially have areas of strong vortices all along this whole entire mesocyclone. Wow, you can almost see like the sink drain effect right here as you have this spin, and other areas of the storm are also spinning into that. Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. Oh yeah, Here it is. This is most likely where the tornado is located. Right here, that's just only 4 miles north-northeast of Blue Rapids. We still have supercells ongoing. Man, we have supercells ongoing in Nebraska, Kansas, Illinois. We had a rogue supercell in Virginia that sort of came out of nowhere, right? Okay. The supercell down south here, just east of Lincoln, well, southeast of Lincoln, Nebraska, is starting to get organized. You can see some of these blue colors all matching up with the red. That's an area where you're having rotation. You have that blue moving towards the radar, the red moving away. So this is an area that is likely going to develop tornado potential over the next short little bit. I would not imagine it would take much longer for this storm to organize. But we're going to go back south and talk about this confirmed tornado. Wow. Again, I will reiterate, this could be a very large tornado on the ground. Either way, the wind field, the damaging winds along this, all of this area of blue-green color, you can see when I turn this on. Let's go ahead and just go full screen right here. When I turn this on, we have 92 mile an hour, 80, 60, 70, and right here we have gate-to-gate shear of 65 and 80. So again, potentially a strong tornado on the ground right here just north of Blue Rapids. This is right off the highway. These chasers, you're still probably not going to be able to see it just because, I mean, look at how rain-wrapped this whole supercell is. This thing is just a giant blob of rain. So chasers, anybody who's driving down here, oh my goodness. Okay, we just got a new update. Sorry, I don't mean to freak out a little bit. Look at the values on the RFD of this storm. Oh my goodness. Let me go ahead and show you guys. We do have 2 active tornado warnings. So my number is off, but I'll fix that in a little bit. That's 115 miles an hour on the RFD of this storm, guys. 115 miles an hour, and that's not even inside the tornado. This is just the RFD of the storm. So, my goodness, this is absolutely incredible. This is a very dangerous storm, everybody. We had reports of baseball-sized hail. We have 115 mile an hour winds here in the RFD and a potential tornado just to the east side of the RFD. This is a very, very dangerous supercell that's tracking here into Blue Rapids, Kansas. I'm going to go ahead and change this to Kansas and Nebraska because Iowa's not really doing much right now. So, wow, this has to be one of the most impressive supercells I have ever seen on radar. This is incredible. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Please, if you know anybody, even if somebody's chasing down here, please, they absolutely need to be safe and be careful. 100 miles an hour on the RFD of this storm that could easily blow out your windows, do significant damage to your vehicle, and that's not even inside the possible tornado, which may still be on the ground. That looks like something big. This could potentially be a large tornado developing here. Let's see if we have anything. Correlation coefficient's a little bit messy. So we can't really get any confirmation from that, but wow. Either way, even if there's not a tornado on the ground, the point that I'm trying to make right now, if there's not even a tornado on the ground with this storm, on that southern side of the rotation, that southwest side, where you have the RFD, that's called the rear flanking downdraft. Wind speeds are over 100 miles an hour in the RFD of this storm right now. That is absolutely incredible. let me go ahead and just pull up velocity fully. So if you guys see at the top of the screen, this is velocity. Oh, wow. Okay. We likely have a pretty intense tornado on the ground here, just north of Blue Rapids. This is tracking basically directly into Blue Rapids. And if we don't have an intense tornado, I'll say it again, this looks like a very damaging supercell just on the RFD alone. Let's look at these values. 136 miles an hour on the RFD. Wow. I'm sorry guys that I'm blown away right now. This is one of the strongest readings on velocity I have seen all year. Again, this very likely could be a strong tornado on the ground near Blue Rapids, Kansas. Again, if you know anybody, family members, storm chasers, just somebody who is in Kansas, a friend, please let them know, especially if they live or if they are in or living in the northeast corner of Kansas, that there is likely a strong tornado on the ground here near Blue Rapids. And even if there is not a tornado on the ground, this is a damaging supercell. 130 mile an hour winds on the backside of this. This is the strongest wind speeds I have seen on velocity all year. I can almost guarantee. So, just for me to explain what we're looking at, you can see at the top of my screen, this is velocity, right? Super res velocity. Now, what velocity is this is like basically taking an X-ray of our thunderstorm. And we can see the wind speeds inside of our thunderstorm, right? So this, the blues, the greens, and the purples is wind speed going towards the radar. The red is wind speed going away from the radar. And obviously, where the two of these meet, you have an area of spin, or an area of rotation, which could be producing a tornado. Now, the pink values we have here are incredibly strong wind speeds. This is, again, I'll reiterate, over 100 miles an hour, 115 still, right here. So if there is a tornado, or even if there is not a tornado on the ground, just the wind speeds from within this storm are as strong as a weak tornado. That is absolutely incredible. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we likely just had a significant tornado on the ground. It had to be very strong. Gate to gate shear was well over 100 miles an hour. Oh yeah. Yeah, easily a significant tornado here. And we did have some of that rotation if we go back one frame. So if we go back, this is 2 minutes back, you can see we have red, which shows rotation moving away. So this is where our tornado would have been. Now if we go to the latest frame, you notice how a lot of that red has gone away. We still have a little bit of it here, this gray red here. So there is a chance that our storm has cycled and there's not an active tornado on the ground. But I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse, for lack of a better word, but even if there's not a tornado on the ground, we have 120, 115 mile an hour wind speeds on the southwest side of the rotation of this storm. That's strong enough to do tornadic damage without even it being a tornado. And we likely did just have a significant tornado on the ground right here, right as it went through Blue Rapids. That is likely a strong tornado that just went through. Wow, just an absolutely incredible storm that we're looking at here. We're going to go ahead and go back to reflectivity. Oh my gosh. Could that be a debris signature there? We could have a debris signature on this storm if it were to line up. Okay, no debris signature. Let's go ahead and go back. Right when it was over Blue Rapids. Yeah, no no confirmed debris lofted in the air, but I would not be surprised if that was a tornado on the ground. When you have areas of rotation that are that tight, you're almost guaranteed to have a tornado on the ground. Like I said, probably a significant tornado on the ground. We're gonna go ahead and check Twitter for any updates. See if there's any reports, anything else. Lots of roofs of buildings and businesses in downtown. Okay, so we have reports. Downtown Marysville. Roofs removed from buildings. So roofs ripped off buildings and businesses in downtown Marysville, Kansas. New tornado warning just issued. Particularly dangerous situation. So this is a damaging tornado. So a particularly dangerous situation tornado warning just means that a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located over Blue Rapids. So that reiterates what I have been saying recently, that we had a large, strong tornado that just moved through Blue Rapids. Again, guys, please, I appreciate each and every one of you who's in here watching the stream. If you know anybody who might be in the northern part of Kansas, whether they're a chaser, a friend, a family member, please let them know to be careful. Even if there's not a tornado on the ground, I'll reiterate this again. We have 100 plus mile-an-hour wind speeds on the southwest side of the rotation of this storm. If you are in the tornado warning, there is a high likelihood that you are going to be experiencing over 100 mile-an-hour winds without even being directly impacted by a tornado. So please, thank you everybody again who's in here watching. If you could share this stream so more people could get this out. That's how the YouTube algorithm works. This is a dangerous storm here in Nebraska. This is one of the most impressive storms of the year, I have to say. It looks like our rotation is weakening now. Hopefully this storm is just too messy to even maintain its energy, and it ends up falling apart. We're gonna have to keep an eye on this storm near Syracuse as well. Syracuse, Nebraska, just southwest or southeast of Lincoln. We will have to keep an eye on that storm as well. But still, we likely just had a pretty strong tornado that went through Blue Rapids. It will be interesting to see if wow, it's this incredible storm. I kid you not, guys, when I say this is one of the strongest radar returns I may have ever seen. Look at this. For a moment, we had gate-to-gate shear 134 miles an hour. I don't know if you guys can see that. 134 miles an hour. Which means that this very likely was a significant tornado. That would mean EF2 plus tornado. And that was moments ago. It looks like hopefully our storm is starting to become a little bit more outflow dominant. So that means we have this wind that's moving away, and we don't have a tight area of rotation where the two of these are meeting in a tight area. Instead, we have more of this bowing line, right, which is more indicative of a storm that is just producing lots of outflow wind rather than spinning and rotating. So, again, thank you to everybody that's tuning in. This is an extremely dangerous supercell here in northeast Kansas. It did just produce a tornado in Blue Rapids, probably a strong tornado in Blue Rapids. It's now moved east of Cottage Hill, heading towards Olsburg and Randolph, Westmoreland as well. Manhattan, Kansas is farther down the line. But we're watching this like a hawk. Watching this like a hawk. Wow, this is one of the more impressive seriously, this is one of the most impressive supercell storms I've ever tracked. And that goes up there with a lot of storms. Like, let's go ahead and just look at this real quick. Again, this yellow is wind speed 100 miles an hour moving away from the radar, where these blue colors are is wind speed nearing 100 miles an hour moving towards the radar. So yeah, very good chance that we just had a pretty strong tornado go through Blue Rapids. I live in Holton, old coworker in Blue Rapids and Manhattan. Yeah, they if they were in Blue Rapids, specifically if you know where the fork in this highway is, that area likely just got hit by a tornado. Even if it did not get hit by the tornado, the wind speeds on the RFD tracking right through Blue Rapids were well over 100 miles an hour. Probably wind gusts, anywhere from 100 to 130 miles an hour on the southern end of that. And Manhattan is definitely much farther down the line. They don't have an immediate risk, but still, I hope your coworker in Blue Rapids is okay, and your friends in Manhattan specifically are watching the radar. And like I said, it does look like our storm is becoming more outflow dominant, because you can see it's more of this line rather than a tight area of wind speed meeting up. So hopefully this means our supercell is going to be done. But supercells like this storm here, very strong storms like this, can recycle. So it means they will weaken a little bit, and then they'll re-strengthen and produce another tornado. It's almost like when you breathe. These storms will breathe in and then breathe out. So they'll strengthen and then they'll weaken. So still needs to be monitored. Let's go ahead and check this storm up here. Oh, wow. Near Syracuse, Nebraska, just southeast of Lincoln, Nebraska. We're starting to get some pretty strong values on this one. Look at this. So this is wind speed moving away from the radar. This is wind speed moving towards the radar. I would not be shocked if pretty soon, again, south of Syracuse, near Cook, Nebraska, heading towards Tecumseh, I would not be surprised if pretty soon this storm gets a tornado warning and has the ability to produce a tornado. Oftentimes, what you'll see, what happens, and I'm going to try to slow this down. I know I'm talking fast. I'm going through a lot of information. I apologize to everybody who's trying to keep up with everything right now. But this storm right here is moving south into the same atmospheric environment that this very same storm just moved through. And that storm intensified greatly all the way from Beatrice all the way down to Blue Rapids in this corridor. So I would not be surprised to see this supercell as it moves south towards these cities down here: Sabetha, Humboldt, Pawnee City, Tecumseh. I would not be surprised to watch this storm strengthen and get stronger and possibly be producing tornadoes as it moved down here farther south towards the border of Nebraska and Kansas. Again, thank you to everybody who's watching right now. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope everybody is being safe. My goal here is to educate, inform, and hopefully to a degree entertain everybody. And if you could like and share this thing, it really helps out with the YouTube algorithm showing more people this live stream. And hopefully I pray that somebody is watching this and it it could possibly save their life if they were to take shelter. Thank you so much to everybody who's watching. Again, I hope that you guys are safe, and yeah, I can't reiterate that enough. I hope that in some way or another I can go to benefit people and help get people to safety, just by some means. So we have 2 storms here. This is now in Nebraska. This is no longer Kansas. This is near Cook, Nebraska, and near Union, Nebraska. We do have 2 storms here that do have rotation. Not tight enough rotation for there to be an immediate tornado threat, but still, these storms are rotating enough for us to consider that they might have tornado potential in just a few minutes if suddenly they strengthen, you know. So we have to watch out for that, because man, this storm down here south of Blue Rapids near Cottage Hill, Fargo, North Dakota, gets severe weather tomorrow, Monday morning and evening. Yes, up there, kind of in the Badlands for sure. You guys are getting your severe weather up north there, and I hope that you stay safe. And if there is an outbreak, potentially like what potentially may be going on today, I will be streaming for that as well. So thank you, Hendrick Racing, for the comment, and I hope you stay safe for your severe weather tomorrow. And again, anybody, if you have questions, comments, concerns, literally anything, pop it in the chat, ask me questions. I'm constantly reading the chat, trying to make sure that everybody is informed on whatever it might be that they are concerned about. So, but yeah, our storms here, this is south of Omaha, southeast of Lincoln, Nebraska. I would say the storm that looks like it has the highest tornado risk is definitely this storm near Cook, Nebraska. This storm is going to be moving south into the same environment that our last storm just produced a strong tornado in. So I would not be surprised to see this storm slowly start to get tighter and tighter rotation as it moves farther south-southeast. And the funny thing is, and not a funny thing, but we've had like tornadic storms in Indiana today. I mean, look at this. We have a storm here. This is almost directly west near Bainbridge, Indiana. You can see this is rotation moving away from the radar towards the radar. So we have a storm that is actively rotating in Indiana. And they're really not supposed to have a severe risk today. You can actually see multiple storms that are observing rotation here in Indiana. Pardon me. I'm doing a lot of talking, so my mouth gets very dry, so I apologize if I take a second to get a drink. We're now looking back south at our storm that's moved through Blue Rapids. I think our tornado threat has significantly diminished with this storm now as it's moved south. You can see that instead of having a tight area of rotation where the 2 rotations meet and you have an area, we have more of this line, right, where you have wind speeds moving here, and that's just colliding with a very weak inflow. And what that means is our storm, these storms are just like breathing, right? You take air in and you breathe out. So sometimes when these storms take air in, we'll go ahead and actually go full screen on this to give you guys a really, really full picture of what I am demonstrating right now. So when these storms breathe in, right, you have inflow going into the storm, outflow going out. This is an area where you'd have your tornado. And then as the storm breathes out, you can see there's no longer a defined area where the 2 of those meet. It's more of this broad area of damaging wind speed that is moving outwards across this whole area. Now, believe me, this is still damaging as you have pretty strong hail and 60 to 80 mile an hour wind gusts along this whole front right here. And then easily this storm could breathe back in. It could get a spike of inflow and tilt back in to a point where you could say, hey, we have a chance of seeing another tornado on the ground here. As of right now, though, our tornado threat here in northern Kansas near Olsburg and Randolph has significantly diminished. Thank goodness. You guys are still going to have damaging, severe wind gusts along this whole front right here. But the tornado that did do damage near Marysville and Blue Rapids has lifted. For the time being, it has lifted. And now we have a new tornado warning up north. That was the storm I was just talking about. I just said it. There's a good chance this will be tornado warned here very soon. Yep. Right here near Cook. And you can see the area. You have wind speeds going towards the radar here and wind speeds going away from the radar. So this is velocity for everybody who may not understand what we're looking at here. And where you have those wind speeds meeting is the potential of having a tornado. Now, this looks like it's much more lower precipitation. So you can see all of our supercell characteristics. Here's our hail core here. Then here's our hook with our RFD moving south. You have your inflow coming in the notch right here. And you'll watch that all measures up pretty well on our velocity side of things. All right. Thank you again, everybody who's tuning in. I know that I'm dropping a lot of information. I'm doing a lot of talking. So please pardon me if I stop for a second to drink some water, to kind of gather myself. There's a lot of people in the stream right now, and I'm just trying to make sure that I cover everything as extensively as I possibly can. Now, we do have a couple chasers up here that will probably be able to get a picture of this tornado if there was one on the ground. Yeah, our rotation up near Union, this storm is getting cut off by this southern one. You can see all this extra rain and stuff like that is being absorbed in the inflow of this storm. And that's likely going to cause it to cut. It's going to cut off this storm's free inflow. Whereas this storm near Cook, if you look at all this open air to the south of it, this storm is probably going to have a pretty strong tornado potential as it moves again farther southeast down here towards Pawnee City, Tecumseh, Table Rock. These are all cities and towns in Nebraska. Again, thank you everybody that's tuning in. Wow, the last two streams that I've done have been the most successful streams I've ever done on this channel. And I could not do it without everybody tuning in. Please, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know, because I will answer anything in the chat that comes along with this. Yeah. Manhattan, Nebraska, or Manhattan, Kansas, my apologies, not Nebraska. Even though this storm is not actively producing a tornado, if we do, like I said, if this storm does take a breath in and it organizes yet again, we could see another tornado heading south down here towards Manhattan. This storm did produce at one point a strong tornado in Marysville and Blue Rapids. This has to be one of the most impressive storms I've ever tracked. I mean, if we go back to where this storm was at its full strength, I mean, look at this signature near Blue Rapids. This is 130 mile an hour winds along a couplet where a tornado is on the ground right here. This is seriously one of the strongest storms I've ever tracked since I have started tracking severe weather. And And I've tracked things like Mayfield, for example. Now the Mayfield and December 10th tornadoes are they stand in their own category of historic measures. The damage that was done in Mayfield, Dawson Springs, Princeton was absolutely insane, and seeing it in person was one of the craziest thing. But okay, so we have reports coming in 5 minutes ago from emergency management. This is reports of 4 industrial buildings fully collapsed and power lines down in Marysville. Highway 36 from Marysville has been closed due to debris covering the road. This was about a half hour or 45 minutes ago from Marysville. So again, this is just north of where our current storm is tracking. So this tornado did significant damage in Marysville, probably even stronger damage in Blue Rapids, and has now moved south-southeast towards Oldsburg, Manhattan, St. George. All of these places need to be on high alert because, again, this storm could breathe back in. It could re-strengthen, and we could see another strong tornado because you have very strong wind speeds here near Oldsburg. This is 60 to 80 mile an hour wind gusts, including hail. This is a damaging thunderstorm, even if there's not a tornado actively on the ground. We'll go ahead and go back up to our active tornado warning here near Cook, just south of Cook, Nebraska. This storm's not looking as impressive, but again, it's moving south into a very strong environment. I would not be surprised to see this thing have the potential of producing a stronger tornado as it moves down the line. Oh, Lord. All right. Sorry, everybody. I'm going to take a drink real quick. Man, thank you everybody for tuning in. I hope that everybody is staying safe. I hope that everybody, if you know anybody who lives out here in Nebraska and Kansas, or if you know somebody who is even just visiting there or chasing there, please let them know that they need to be safe. They absolutely need to be safe. Now, here is the report. We're going to go ahead and switch over and look on Twitter. Again, this is from Marshallville County, Kansas. This is the reports of industrial buildings collapsed, power lines down, and the highway being closed from debris covering the radar. So just for everybody wanting to know, this is a confirmed emergency management report coming out of Marysville, Nebraska, or Marysville, Kansas, where what looks like a potentially strong tornado did move through. Yeah, and here is WeatherTrack US posted a radar loop here. This was the circulation as it moved through. Let's go ahead and slow this down a little bit if we can. And watch the circulation go through Marysville. You can almost see it spinning as it moves through. And in a very, very incredible couplet here, just north of Blue Rapids. That's what's likely a strong tornado, everybody. That's what it looks like on velocities to see a strong tornado. Man, I hope everybody was taking shelter there in Blue Rapids, because that's wow. Oh, man. Yeah, and you could not see anything inside this storm. My goodness. All right, everybody. Again, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you that is in here. We just had what looked like a strong tornado go through Marysville and into Blue Rapids. Let's go ahead and pull this up yet again for everybody who's just now joining. Here is the radar as it tracked through Marysville into Blue Rapids. This was a confirmed, probably producing 2 different tornadoes and one of them being very strong near Blue Rapids. We have no word yet on the damage in Blue Rapids, but we do have word on damage in Marysville, collapsed buildings, industrial buildings in Marysville. And anybody, if you have questions, comments, concerns, please put them in the chat. I'm willing to answer any and everything that you guys bring up. So please don't be afraid to type in the chat. I'm watching constantly for anything new that does pop up. Our radar's taking a second to load. There we go. It's almost come up. My apologies, everybody, if I stop to drink water. I'm doing a lot of talking. I'm trying to make sure that I cover absolutely everything for everyone that is in the live stream right now. We are struggling to get velocity up. That's fine. Let's just switch to this. Now you see our storm here near Olsberg. If our velocity would load, that'd be pretty beneficial. I wonder if our radar is Junction City, Kansas. How's it looking? Junction City. Let's go ahead and see. Junction City, Kansas. Let's see in what part of Kansas you live. And then you live... oh, you live just southwest of Manhattan. Okay. So, you do have a storm that is moving near you, near Manhattan, Kansas, and you are down here in Junction City. For some reason, our radar is being incredibly slow right now. My internet's fine, so I don't know why our radar is having so many issues. Bear with me for 1 second. I'm going to restart radar scope. But yeah, just wanted to let you know where you're at there, just southeast of Manhattan. You definitely do have tornado potential. They just issued a warning for Manhattan. Junction City, you should be out of the tornado risk for sure. In terms of damaging winds, though, there's a high likelihood you're going to experience at least severe level winds there in Junction City. My apologies, everybody. The radar seems to be really slow right now. So we're struggling to get velocity. There we go. See, if you remember earlier, I told you how this storm had a line. It looked more like an outflow. And now we're starting to get some more of that inflow. Again, this storm could be breathing. It could be cycling. There's a chance that it could be producing another tornado, which is why the National Weather Service has opted to issue a tornado warning for Manhattan, St. George, Zendale. We got Westmoreland and Waubonsee, I believe, as well. And we have 2 active warnings, not just the one. So we're going to go ahead and change that to 2 active warnings. I know I don't have the absolute craziest stream set up or anything. I'm just running off of you know, my computer at home, so just love covering weather. But yeah, Fremont, Nebraska, anyone to the east and north, you are good. No more severe weather. Yes, all of the severe weather should be focused in far southeastern Nebraska here, just like southeast of Lincoln, into northeastern Kansas. So that would include Topeka, Kansas City is included in that, Kansas City, Missouri, and southern Iowa, so south of Des Moines as well. But this is definitely concerning. This storm that's tracking here into Manhattan, Kansas, this storm did produce a strong tornado near Blue Rapids and Marysville. Again, we did have a report of pretty significant damage in Marysville. So hopefully everybody's safe there. Hopefully everybody's safe in Blue Rapids as well. And now our storm could potentially be cycling and trying to produce another strong tornado here as it heads southeast towards Manhattan and St. George. Specifically St. George, Zendale, Waubonsee. You guys need to be taking shelter because you're more directly in the path of the actual area of rotation as it moves south-southeast. Oh yeah, we have a tornado on the ground. We just got an update. Tornado on the ground, everybody, just southeast of Olsberg. If you'll notice, if we go back over here to reflectivity, look at the shape of our storm right here, and this is likely where our tornado is. Here's the shape of our storm. It is most definitely producing a tornado right here, just southeast of Olsberg. See, this is what I said. These storms, they breathe in and they breathe out, and sometimes, boom. It can be that quick right there. It's almost certain that is a tornado on the ground there, just southeast of Olsberg. How strong is our gate-to-gate shear? We've got 90 to 100 mile an hour gate-to-gate shear. That would suggest that there's a chance that this thing is a pretty strong tornado, again, just southeast of Olsberg. And that's why I've been hammering home continuously that storms like this one tend to breathe in and breathe out, where they will cycle a new tornado and then it will dissipate, and then a new tornado will form and then it'll dissipate. And just within one radar scan, I'll go ahead and show you guys, within one radar scan, this storm went from not really producing anything that looks significant to boom, a tornado on the ground. So look at CC correlation. Did it I didn't see anything definitive. Oh, here is our tornado right here, again, southeast of Olsberg. It's hard to tell, I mean, but this is it right here. This is our tornado, because if we turn on velocity, look, it matches up perfectly with where our tornado is. Right here specifically. And what we're looking at here, I know that this just looks like a whole blob of nothing. What this is correlation coefficient. So this allows us to see if the tornado has lofted debris, whether it be trees or buildings, up into the air. And you get these darker colors, right? And if that matches up with rotation, which ours does, you can see the red and the blue colors right here. If this debris matches up with rotation, then it shows us that we do have a confirmed tornado on the ground. I wonder if the National Weather Service has said that. They have not said that it is a confirmed tornado, but we can see here on our correlation coefficient that this is a, what I can almost certainly say is a confirmed tornado on the ground here. Just southeast of Olsberg, this thing is tracking towards you, Manhattan. If you live in Manhattan, Kansas, that's definitely a larger population center, one of the larger population centers we've seen this storm track through. It is going to be heading south-southeast that direction. So, yeah, St. George, Zendale, you guys need to be on high alert as well. Yeah, to give everybody an idea of what we're looking at, because some people may not know what we're looking at. On the right side of our screen here, this is velocity. So this is like an X-ray of the storm, right? So where we have these red pixels, this is wind speed that's moving away from the radar. The blue pixels is wind speed moving towards the radar. And where the two of these meet, right here, that is our tornado, right? And obviously the darker blue and the brighter colors stands for usually higher wind speeds, right? So we can see if we go back one scan on this, the wind shear, wow, the RFD on this thing was well over 100 miles an hour. So yeah, there's nothing indicative of necessarily a strong tornado, but nonetheless, we had a tornado on the ground, and all tornadoes are strong in theory because well over 100-mile-an-hour winds can do some very significant damage. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm sorry if I take a brief pause to drink some water or something. Just oh wow, yeah, look at this. Now see, we had those red colors and we have these bright yellow colors here. So that is indicative of what could be potentially a strong tornado on the ground right here now. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a pretty strong tornado. Let's see. No, that was last scan. See if we can get the latest update. Okay, so our correlation coefficient has not updated, but again, this looks like a strong tornado here. And this is what, just southeast of Oldsburg. Manhattan, this is likely going to be just east of you. St. George and Zendale, you guys need to be on high alert because this could be tracking directly into both of these areas. And Manhattan is a much larger population center than we've seen out of any of the locations that have been impacted today. So, yeah, now they have confirmed a confirmed damaging tornado. Now, we don't want to get too tunnel vision. Let's go ahead and go back up here and check out this storm near Cook, just south of Cook, Nebraska. This storm is struggling, to say the least. It's not, there's no discernible tight area of rotation. So, I mean, I would say the tornado threat is not necessarily imminent with this storm, but it is going to be tracking south into a very volatile environment. It's tracking into directly the same environment this storm is actively producing a tornado in. So, what are my thoughts on the El Reno tornado? If you're talking about the 2013 El Reno tornado, that's one of the most historic tornado events in all of history. You know, a 2.6 mile wide tornado, and obviously it caused the passing of Tim Samaras, Paul Samaras, and Carl Jung. That was a historic event and very monumental in terms of storm chasing safety. I think it was very important. And this year has been very important, actually, as well for storm chaser safety. There's been a lot of people driving very recklessly this year. And I think it's good that the community is trying to speak out and encourage people to do better on those cases. So, but yeah, our tornado here that's tracking towards Manhattan, it looks like it may have lifted, so we may not have a tornado on the ground, but we do still have rotation, weak wind speeds moving away with strong RFD on the backside of this. Manhattan, Kansas, even if you don't get hit by a tornado, which would be right here, this whole RFD is going to be anywhere from 60 to 90 mile an hour wind speeds in this whole rear flanking downdraft. And that's tracking right into Manhattan, Kansas, right into the heart of town. So, pretty nice in Columbus, Nebraska. Yeah, I think Columbus, Nebraska is much more, you're not on the southeast part of Nebraska, right? But Sorry about that. Just have to answer text message. Oh man, what an award-winning derecho. I mean, I know they're not gonna classify this as a derecho per se, but definitely is going to be a long-lived windbag storm here. East Central for Columbus, Nebraska. Yeah, you seem like a respectable person. I'm a subscribe. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I don't know everything in terms of whether, I had always considered or dreamed about possibly pursuing weather in terms of a career and taking meteorology in college and stuff, but I decided to go other routes in terms of my schooling, and I'm studying actually finance, but I still have a passion for weather. I absolutely love it, specifically tornadoes. I'm sick to my stomach that I missed the tornadoes in Ohio. I'm from Ohio, and I feel like I should have been there, but yeah, I hope that through this stream that I can entertain to a degree, inform and educate people on severe weather so everybody knows what to look for, and maybe, just maybe, somebody watches this that's in the path of a tornado or a severe thunderstorm, and they take the necessary precautions to hopefully protect their life and property. So that's what I hope, and I don't make any money off of YouTube or anything. I mainly do this just because I have a passion for it, and I hope that it could go to benefit somebody. So we're gonna go ahead and check Twitter and see if there's any pictures of damage in Kansas. Jeff Petrowski is reporting there's damage in Kansas. I can't. In Blue Rapids, Kansas. Man, okay. Jeff Petrowski does have some pictures of damage in Blue Rapids, but it looks like it's not major damage, just some tree damage. Minor roofing damage, maybe. Man. I am still looking to see if we have any photographs of any damage there. There was a report of pretty significant damage in Marysville, Kansas, with four industrial buildings that had their walls collapsed. The highway was shut down there in Marysville, actually, as that tornado caused debris to be scattered across the road. Let's go ahead and go back up to these northern storms. There's nothing very concerning with these northern storms up here. Just southeast of Lincoln, Nebraska, near Nebraska City and Hamburg, and Elk Creek, Humboldt, Table Rock. These areas are under severe warnings, and there's definitely tornado potential in the future if these storms can get better organized. But it looks like these storms are lacking the moisture necessary to become surface-based tornado-producing thunderstorms. So, and Iowa actually has been disappointing in that regard as well, where Iowa was kind of meant to be the main show today in terms of tornado-producing storms, and luckily, and this is a good thing, the storms have really struggled to get organized here. And the positive thing is a lot of the terrain that this main storm has produced tornadoes over from, gosh, this thing has produced tornadoes now for the last 50 miles. It's produced tornadoes ever since I have been streaming over an hour ago. So, luckily, the terrain out here in northern Kansas and southeast Nebraska, there's a lot of nothing. We have a lot of flat fields, not a ton of major population centers. Now, Manhattan is one of the larger population centers out here. And Manhattan, it does look like the tornado has lifted for you guys. However, you do have this area of strong winds that's going to be pushing through the Manhattan metro. And those wind speeds are going to be anywhere from 60 to 80 miles an hour there that are going to be moving through Manhattan. So even though there's not an immediate tornado on the ground, at least based on radar, we cannot 100% confirm that, but it does look like there is a lower chance there's a tornado on the ground right now than there was moments ago. You're still going to have very strong winds, and Manhattan actually, as we speak, is being hit by those strong winds. So hopefully everybody's taking shelter there. If there is a tornado, it would be moving right through basically the center of town where all of these major highways and routes intersect. It would be right here moving south-southeast to all of those major highway connections. So I hope everybody is remaining safe there, and I hope that you are in your shelter. Oh my gosh, wow. Look at the look of this thunderstorm, everyone. Look at the look of this. This is incredible. I mean, you can see the area of rotation right here where this storm is. Like, that's absolutely incredible. Kansas and Nebraska are slightly east of Tornado Alley. No, Kansas and Nebraska, they pretty much are Tornado Alley. I mean, it depends on the time of the year. I mean, but from the most part, you have, Oklahoma, a little bit of Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa. This is what is considered the historical core of Tornado Alley. Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, those are the main shows, right? In recent years, we've seen a lot more activity in this part of the country, and I think that's in large part to help from the La Nina. You had really warm sea temperatures here in the Gulf of Mexico, and earlier on in the year, it's really easy to get those really warm, moist dew points up here into this part. So for the early months of the year, that would be February, March, April. This is your center of severe weather, and then it shifts a little bit more west out here to the classic Tornado Alley. And then as you get later on into the year, it favors the upper Midwest and the northern plains as you get more into June and July. So really great question. Thank you for that. Yeah. So, oh my gosh, if there is a tornado on the ground, it would basically be in downtown Manhattan right now, right here in the Manhattan, Kansas metro. It would basically be right here somewhere in this zone. Right here is where the tornado would be if there were one. Thank you so much for everybody that's tuning into the stream. This has been probably the most successful stream I've ever had. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I hope that what people gain from these streams is a source of education on severe weather. I hope to some degree a source of entertainment, and I hope that maybe just maybe somebody watches this and they didn't know that they were under the gun for severe weather, and they take the necessary steps for protecting both their life and their property if given the chance. So but for those of you who were here a little bit ago, I'm going to talk about it again. It looks like our storm is doing the breathing phase, where I talked about how these storms are just like our lungs. They breathe in and fill with air, and then they exhale that air out. So what looks like what's happening right now is we have our air that is exiting the thunderstorm. And we can see this right here. We have our wind exiting this thunderstorm. Whereas just a little bit ago, if we could get a full loop to load. There we go. Just a little bit ago when we had this tornado, we had wind speeds moving in and wind speeds moving away. So our storm was breathing in right here. It was breathing in wind, which caused a confirmed tornado to be on the ground here. So our storm has now cycled, and it is outflow. It's blowing out right now, which means that it is very likely we won't see an active tornado on the ground. However, like we just saw, this storm could easily spin up a new tornado, usually on the right side where you might get the inflow to strengthen, is where you could have a tornado along this this corridor here, and we would be able to tell that from velocity. You could potentially help people by doing this, to be honest. I hope so, that in some way people could learn something, and again take the necessary steps to be safe, right? And I hope that maybe I could help people in a way of also calming severe weather anxiety. There's some people who get incredibly anxious about the severe storms and stuff, when really there's nothing to be worried about. You need to be prepared. You don't need to be scared, right? So there's no reason to be afraid of severe weather. I think it's important to be prepared for severe weather, though. So thank you, Sippy Ice, for the comments. I really appreciate everything you're saying right now. Currently, our tornado risk has decreased on this storm again, as it's just tracked through Manhattan. Now that we still do have a risk of 60 to 90 mile an hour wind gusts along the southern end of this storm, and that's going to be moving south towards Alta Vista, Kansas. And this thing could easily produce a tornado again if we get a surge of inflow on the southern side of this. So we're going to go ahead and move back up north, though, to our storms here southeast of Lincoln, Nebraska. And wow, this storm near Table Rock and Humboldt, Nebraska has really struggled. I thought that this thing would organize a little bit better and actually have a chance of producing tornadoes down the line. But thankfully, I think these storms are struggling a little bit with moisture. As you know, storms are associated with that warm, moist air. And when you're lacking a little bit of that moisture, storms struggle to get real mean, I guess, per se, and strong. And this is what happens where you have these storms that kind of putter along, and they might produce, some hail and severe winds and stuff, and they might actually look very beautiful in real life. But the actual tornado threat or danger is really, really quite low when compared to these other storms. And you can see the severe warnings on both of these have gone away because these storms are not even really producing severe damaging winds. So yeah, our main show has been this one storm, which has produced at least 2 tornadoes from Marysville down to Blue Rapids. If it rains in the slightest, she runs back and forth looking at the window, panics even though the last tornado here was in 80. Yeah, and a lot of people, it's an anxious thing, the thunder, hail, rain, and everything. It can be scary, right? However, I think, again, it's important to not be afraid of severe weather, but just to just to be prepared, right? We have the steps, we have the means to protecting our life and our property. You know, obviously, if a tornado hits your home, there's not much you can do to protect that property, right? But um, protecting your life, getting into a basement, some type of shelter, or driving away from wherever the tornado may be, if you're in your vehicle, can be very important, right? So, yeah, it just we have the necessary steps and capability of tracking these storms, especially with the much higher resolution radars that we have nowadays compared to years ago. My goodness, we have much more advanced technology now than we did years ago. So, um, there's a rotating storm in Ohio right now. I'm about to have to go chase. Let me check that out real quick. Sorry, everybody. I'm from Ohio, so obviously, we're gonna check this out and see if there's any merit to that, or if I'm just getting trolled by somebody right now. Yeah, I see nothing on the radar. Okay, I'm getting trolled, I guess. I was gonna say there's no even real thunderstorms in Ohio right now, so. But yeah, um, I'll go ahead and explain to everybody who's new, who may be hopping in here right now. Thank you all for joining me. As always, I appreciate everybody who's joined in for this severe weather coverage. We did have at least 2 tornadoes that went through Marysville and Blue Rapids, Kansas. There's a likelihood that at least one of those was pretty significant and may have actually been rather large. What we're looking at on the right side of our screen, this is velocity. So this is like if we took an X-ray of the thunderstorm. We can see the wind speeds that are inside of that thunderstorm. This is the great advance of technology. And we can see green is wind speed that is moving more towards the radar, and red is our wind speed moving away from the radar. Now, if we had a tight area where the two of those were meeting in a tight circle, we would consider that potentially a tornado, or at least capable of producing a tornado. But what we have here, this is wind speed that is more outflow dominant, meaning the storm is mainly pushing wind out instead of both wind out and in, where you would have rotation or spin, right? I'm trying to put this in a way that hopefully everybody can understand. Now we can see our storm has a massive hook on it. Like this has been one of the more incredible storms that I have tracked ever on live stream. This probably is the most incredible storm on live stream that I have ever tracked. And if there would be tornado potential, it would likely exist in this general area, where you would have an uptick in rotation. If you had some of those red values pushing in to the wind speed here, you could have a tornado spin up. So as of right now, it does not look like we have evidence that 100% of tornadoes on the ground. However, even without a tornado on the ground, this whole area of this brighter green and brighter blue color, that's 60, 70, even 80 mile an hour wind speed. So this storm, even without having a tornado down on the ground, will still be producing very, very low end tornado damage at minimum. So that's actually quite cool. It's very cool. I mean, our technology has advanced significantly, and the NEXRAD radars are incredible, and I'm very excited to see what happens in the future with weather radars. And what I hope is, if they design new radars that are capable of doing extraordinary new things, I hope that they leave these old radars in and they install the new radars where we have radar spots, or radar dead spots, right? Sort of like with your phone's cellular internet connection, how we have radars here, 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 but right here in the middle of all of those is kind of a dead zone, you know? So it's it can be difficult to really get a clear picture of the storm in those dead zones. So what I hope is the next iteration of radar, whether it's NextRad 2.0 or whatever, I hope that they can kind of fill some of those gaps that may have been missing. We are checking checking to see if there's any photos of damage in anywhere from Marysville down south to Blue Rapids, which for anybody who's just now tuning in, we did have a confirmed tornado track through both Marysville and Blue Rapids. Actually, it might have been 2 tornadoes, and we also had another tornado that touched down just north of Manhattan. So 2, maybe 3, potentially 1 or 2 of those could have potentially been a strong tornado, given what we had seen on velocity. So we're going to go ahead and check out Twitter, see if there's any pictures. Yep. The National Weather Service in Topeka, Kansas was acknowledging the same sentiment that we had earlier, right, where the strong, intense circulation was moving through Blue Rapids, which looked like it could have potentially been a strong, potentially violent tornado. So again, we're still not seeing any pictures of damage, so that to me is a good sign that hopefully none of these areas were significantly damaged, and hopefully that is a good sign that some of these areas escaped being heavily damaged from these storms. I'm sorry if I'm stumbling over words. Gosh, this is probably the most I've talked in a long time. Good Lord. Yeah, our storms here in western Iowa and moving into Missouri and southeast Nebraska. I don't think these storms are going to realize much tornado potential. These storms have really struggled with that greater moisture. Sorry if you hear a dog barking in the background. So without that greater moisture, these storms cannot get rooted to the surface and really establish that tornado. If you think about it, a tornado is at the surface of a storm, right? So without that greater moisture for those storms to get rooted to the surface, they struggle with tornado potential. So, and wow, this seriously has to be one of the most impressive looks of a supercell. Massive, high precipitation, lots of rain, potentially hail in here. This massive supercell. I got messages from my chasing group. I'm a member of the Corn Belt Chasers, and they're talking about potentially a tornado in Indiana. Is it this storm? That storm is rotating. Nothing significant. But I think that's the storm that they are speaking about. Is that storm right there? Okay. Radar scope just crashed, so that's pretty cool. My apologies. We're going to go ahead and bring that back up. Sometimes that happens when you're switching radars. Radar scope just crashes. So actually here in Indiana, west southwest of Indianapolis. This is near Cloverdale and Stillsville, and Fillmore. We do actually have rotation. Again, the red is wind speed moving away, and green is wind speed moving towards. So, this thing does have a nice little mesocyclone on it, and if that rotation tightens, that storm definitely does have a chance of producing a tornado. Indiana, with almost a 0% tornado risk, is really trying to produce. Oh, yet again, thank you everybody who's been tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. My goal from doing this stream is to educate everybody, hopefully inform and entertain to a degree on everything that's going on severe weather-wise. If I can help at least one person watches this and learns something, or seeks shelter and, takes the necessary precautions to protect their life and property, I feel like the stream is well worth it for those reasons specifically. And thank you everybody who's coming in, liking, subscribing, because that's really good for YouTube's algorithm, and hopefully it'll show it to somebody who will learn something new and benefit from what we're doing here. So again, the only storm right now that has any chances of producing a tornado out of all these storms here is this storm south of Manhattan, moving towards Alta Vista. Now, right now, there's no real definitive area of rotation, right? You have wind speeds moving this way, wind speeds moving this way, right? Because green moves towards the radar, red moves away. So you do probably have a massive area of rotation, but it's not tight enough for us to say that there may be definitively a tornado on the ground or anything. Now, if we do get an area of tighter rotation where that red will meet right up with that green, then we can say with pretty high certainty that there is actively a tornado on the ground, and you need to absolutely seek shelter. But right now, it looks like there is no confirmed tornado on the ground. And again, for everybody that is here, I'm going to continue. You know what? I'm going to show you something really cool here. When I play this out, you're going to actually see the spin on the ball of this. Look at it spin as it moves. It's absolutely incredible. Actually, as a matter of fact, if I sped up the animation and added a little bit of frames, you'll see it. Look at it spin as it moves. Isn't that absolutely incredible? I mean, that's absolutely insane. Just I think our atmosphere in our world is incredible. So we'll slow that back down. We'll back this down to 12 frames. Man. And again, this is all thanks to, we have much better radar technology now. We can see things in a much higher resolution than ever before in history. So the great minds and great technicians that were involved in creating these radars are really going on to hopefully save some lives and benefit us for studying these storms in the future. So moving that. Thank you, everybody who's joined in the stream. Wow. It's almost 9 o'clock here Eastern time. Okay, that's not... that looks like it's more than likely just a radar glitch here near Wakefield. And we're still just watching this whole broad area of rotation where we have this inflow moving in, and that's meeting this storm. So anywhere along this inflow, you could get a spin up in here, And usually when you have these big HP storms like this that have a very large ball here at the end of the end of the storm, usually they're not necessarily conducive to producing long track tornadoes because they just, you don't have that clean inflow. All right. Sorry about that. I'm trying to read Twitter and see if there is any news or any information. Tornado warned supercell now on the Kansas Nebraska border. Is he talking about this storm? Man. Well, still, you can see just because of how high precipitation this storm is, this storm is not getting clean, open inflow, and because of that, it really makes it difficult for these storms to produce those long track tornadoes. Now, you might have a strong tornado that does not last for very long. Like you can see a couple of these gray pixels in here, and that matches up with our green pixels. There is a chance you could get a weak spin up in here, and that's sort of what I've been talking about, where these high precipitation, lots of rain, lots of hail, storms like this are not the best tornado producing storms. Now, if this storm kind of, absorbed a little bit more of its own inflow and got some more of this clean, just open air inflow, it would have the chance of producing tornadoes a lot easier than what it currently does. So, real quickly, I wanted to thank everybody who's actively watching, who's liked, subscribed, whatever, I appreciate each and every one of you. This has been the longest stream I've ever had, the most concurrent viewers I've ever had on a stream, the most likes I've had on a stream, the most views I've had on a stream. Thank you so much. I hope that what I'm doing here can educate, inform, and, to a degree, be entertaining for some people who enjoy watching the severe weather coverage, right? I don't have the setup that Ryan Hall does or anything like that. I'm just live streaming off my home computer in my room, but I hope that what I know can go to benefit somebody, whether it may save somebody's life if they're in the path of a severe storm or in the path of a tornado, or if all it does is somebody learns something new about radars. Whatever it might be, I just hope that my stream that I'm doing can go to benefit somebody in some way. If it benefits at least one person, then I'm happy. So thank you so much, everybody. Again, I appreciate and if any of you have any questions, comments, concerns, please don't be afraid to type them in the chat. I will read the chat. I'll answer your comment. Don't feel like afraid or anxious to type something in there. No question is considered a dumb question whatsoever, right? Appreciated. The nadir was in my county. We just got skimmed by this thing. Oh yeah, if you're talking about this same storm that tracked through Manhattan, Oldsburg, Blue Rapids, and Marysville, even if you didn't get hit by this tornado, you had very strong winds all around this thing. So, actually, along the western side, the rear flanking downdraft of the storm, wind speeds were in excess of 100 miles an hour. So even if you didn't get hit by the tornado, you were subject to tornado force winds there in Blue Rapids. Whew, my apologies. I have to stop, drink some water, and I'm doing a lot of talking. This is the most I've been talking. And to add some clarity as to who I am, my name's Rob. I'm from Ohio. Um, I have absolutely loved severe weather, specifically tornadoes, ever since I was probably 6 years old, I believe. Probably around that age. Um, my dad found some books that they were throwing away from the elementary school. And it had tornadoes, earthquakes, volcanoes, all sorts of natural disasters, hurricanes as well. And I remember the tornadoes, the book about the tornadoes specifically. And I remember seeing a picture of a tornado, a real skinny rope, and a house that had the debris being lifted up around it. And even as a kid, I looked at that and I just was in awe how amazing it was, and I was like, wow, that would be amazing to see in person. And I fell in love with it. Obviously, I was a kid when April 27th, 2011, the super tornado outbreak happened. And that got me even more just down the severe weather, drain, because that was such a significant, probably the most historic outbreak, you know, ever in modern history of tornadoes. And I would love to make a video about that someday, because that was a significant moment in history. So the sky is churning in Junction City. Actually, yeah, you do have a little bit of rotation here in Junction City. Nothing concerning. You're not going to have any tornadoes or anything, but you do have a bit of wind speed going towards our radar, and here's our wind speed going away from our radar. So you do have an area of rotation, but not anything to be necessarily concerned about. So you're doing a great job. Hi, north of you in Michigan. Hello. Thank you very much, Katie H. I appreciate that. And yeah, the clouds are going all sorts of directions. Yeah, that's evidence of that lower level rotation that you do have there in Junction City. But you guys are not under the gun for any tornado risk whatsoever. Believe me, you guys are at the moment 100% safe. So, and we're keeping an eye on this storm near Alta Vista and Dwight. This storm is still more outflow dominant than it is inflow, but we've seen this. This storm has done this at least 3 times today. It has been outflow dominant, and then it has taken inflow and has produced a tornado. These storms are very fluid. It's just like your lungs when you breathe in and then you breathe out and you exhale. So currently, right along this storm is mainly breathing out, right? That was a terrible arrow, but it's mainly breathing out, right? It's pushing air out. And all it takes is just a minute or two of this storm breathing back in, and boom, you could spin up a tornado. Now, the positive thing, I think the main thing that is limiting our tornado risk here in Alta Vista and Dwight, Kansas, is look at how high precipitation this storm is. There's a lot of rain, potentially a lot of hail falling with this storm. New person here. I follow Tornado Tube a lot. Just discovered you. Nice work. Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody that's chatting right now. Again, I will be constantly looking over at the chat. So if you have any comments, questions, concerns, I'm here to answer any and everything. Don't feel like you're answering a stupid question at all. So anyways, to reiterate what I'm saying here is we have this massive high precipitation storm, right? And when you get these high precipitation storms, the reason this storm is struggling to realize a tornado threat, and we just lost our tornado warning, on this storm. So I'll go ahead and update that for everybody that there is 0 active tornado warnings. We're going to go ahead and celebrate that because that means that nobody is hopefully in any immediate danger of a tornado. But anyways, whenever you get all this rain, all this hail, if you think about it, storms that produce tornadoes is a rotating updraft. When you have all that rain and all that hail, what is that? That is a downdraft. So a storm that is very high precipitation like this, where your area of rotation right here, right along this hook, is so just waterlogged of continuous rain and hail, it hurts the tornado risk because you cannot get that tight rotating updraft when you have such a strong downdraft all around here. Now you can get tornadoes on a high precipitation storm like this. More than likely though, the tornado is not going to be very long track because you need this open air of inflow. And you see, you just can't get that open inflow because this corridor is just filled with rain. So that hurts your tornado chances. But obviously, lower tornado chances is a good thing for everybody. No loss of life, no loss of property. That is best case scenario. So again, thank you to everybody who's tuning in. I greatly appreciate that. This has been my most successful stream ever. So thank you so much, everybody who's been a part of today. This has definitely been a step in the right direction for my channel. And my only goal when I come on these streams is that hopefully somebody learns something new, or that somebody, will watch the stream and realize they themselves are in a severe risk and take the necessary action to protect their life and their property. So those are my only 2 goals when I come on here streaming. If I can achieve one or both of those goals, even for just one person, then I'm happy. I'm very happy with that. So thank you, everybody. Seriously, thank you. I just pray that everybody remains safe the rest of the night. You did not just come in at the end. No, we're not ending this right now. We might end it eventually if these storms continue to struggle, because our severe risk should be gradually winding down. I'll be on for a little bit longer, but if we continue to have no tornado warnings for a while, then I will eventually be leaving. But for right now, we're gonna stay on, so don't worry. I'm not gone just yet. So and we just hit 50 likes on this live stream. Thank you, everybody, for liking again. 50 likes, that's incredible. I think the most I've had a live stream hit is like 25, so we've doubled that number. I only imagine what could happen if we doubled that number to 100. That would be absolutely insane. My goodness. But hurricane force winds in Junction. Yeah, if you're in Junction, you are experiencing a very windy late, well, it's evening now at this point, but yeah, no tornado threat here in Junction City. The tornado threat here is pretty low, as our storms are kind of taking a breath out. Everything is calming down right now, and very, very happy about that, because again, that means that we protect life, we protect property that way. We don't want to see people lose their homes or lose loved ones. So I'm very happy that the tornadoes have stayed mainly over very rural areas here, just with not really much in the ways of civilization here in northern Kansas. But for the people that are out here, I hope that they're heeding the warnings, and thank goodness right now we don't have any active warnings. This is the first time since I started the stream that we don't have any active tornado warnings. So very good news for everybody out here. And for everybody that's just now coming in, I want to show you something really cool. We're going to go ahead and speed up our radar loop, and we're going to go 18 frames here. Now watch this, the end of this storm. You're going to actually see it spin on the radar loop. This is absolutely incredible to watch, in my opinion. Once it loads, look at it spin as it moves right through Manhattan, and it did produce a tornado north of Manhattan up here. It's just absolutely incredible high precipitation storm here. I'm just fascinated with our world, with our atmosphere, with meteorology in general. I mean, look at that thing spin. It's absolutely incredible. You know, let's go ahead and let's turn the speed down just a little bit. That is pretty quick. Let's actually go 20 frames on that. So let's go back even a little bit more, and I'll move this up farther. I can't put, there we go. Yeah, look at it. You can just see the spin on it. That's actually incredible. I have such a fascination for all of this stuff, so. We do get tornadoes in the UK. I've seen one or two, but thankfully they are tiny. If anyone is interested in our tiny tornadoes, Toro are the guys to Google. Yeah. No, I mean, there are tornadoes all around the world. The thing that makes the United States special is just the position of the jet stream and the Gulf Coast specifically, which allows for that sufficient flow of moisture. Then you have the jet stream, which brings that colder, potentially drier air from the Rocky Mountains down. So yeah, that is pretty incredible. You know what? We're gonna go ahead and see share movie or share as an animated GIF. I wonder how far back I could go on this. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and position it right here is pretty good. Yeah, that's incredible. I'm gonna preparing media. We're gonna go ahead and save this because this is very incredible. Oh, whoops. Where did that go? Okay. I'm gonna try that again. We're gonna try this again, and hopefully I can share this. Oh gosh, I didn't realize how dark I am on the screen. There we go. All right. Yeah, we'll save that into radar screenshot. Wonderful. Oh. All right. Again, thank you everybody who's liking. We're at 57 likes. I mean, my goodness. This is just absolutely incredible. Like I said, we've doubled my like, you know, the most likes I've ever had from 25 to 50. Hopefully on the next stream we can double it, like I said, from 50 to 100 and just keep the ball rolling, you know. Things are going pretty well right now, and luckily our tornado threat again has minimized significantly. It sucks that I am not very visible. I guess I'm pretty visible. My whole room is just nothingness back here, but I guess as long as I'm close enough to the camera, everything looks pretty visible. So oh. I want to see what it looks like if we went like way back. Like how far back can we get on this storm? I know it's gonna take a while to load. Yeah, we can't go as far back as Marysville, but do you happen to have any mods? I've been hoping to help out. Coming weather guys. I don't have any mods currently. I mean, I didn't think I was like big enough really to need any moderators per se right now, but but I mean, definitely if the streams continue in the direction that we're going, would be nice to have a moderator. Believe me, I will remember you, Galaxies. I will remember you 100%. And I appreciate that. I appreciate, you know, if you were offering to help. Never gonna give you up. if that's reflected as like never gonna give up hope for me succeeding or something, I appreciate that. If it's a reference to the being rickrolled, then I also can appreciate that as well. So, but yeah, hopefully, well, not hopefully, thankfully for everybody that's tuning in right now, our tornado threat is decreasing significantly. Let's go ahead and check this. This storm might be the last chance of producing a tornado, and it's just this. The storms up here are struggling a lot with not having enough moisture to really become surface based like they need to. So I would be so upset if I got rickrolled. Click. I'm not gonna rickroll you guys, don't worry. Oh gosh, I'd be upset too though. Yeah, like if Ryan Hall started streaming one day and he just rickrolled everybody. Oh man. Thank you everybody, like I said, for tuning in. Things look to be there's still the watch in Northwest Missouri. Yeah, I think that places farther east, like these storms up here, are gonna struggle with that moisture. You can see there's no defined mesocyclone. There's no defined rotation in any of these storms here, which gives me the idea that yeah, these storms are still struggling with that deeper moisture. You need that moisture for these storms to get rooted to the surface, and these storms have been struggling with it all day. These storms here that are moving from Iowa into Missouri. The only one that I would imagine has a chance is this storm here near Fairfax. Is that Missouri? Yes, it is. Near Fairfax, Missouri, Rockport. This storm is probably the only one that has a chance. But we are about to be fully losing daylight out here. And since these storms are already struggling with moisture and energy, I would say that there's a good chance they will continue to struggle with that as we lose daylight and lose that energy that is necessary for these storms. So, yeah, thankfully, question to all, what's the best tornado footage you've ever seen? I don't think I can now it's pretty humid in Missouri today. Yeah, you guys do have some pretty massive dew points there. The only problem is those storms are really struggling to tap into that. I don't know if it's because of the cap or because of some of the earlier rain showers that went through, but yeah, the best tornado footage I have ever seen is Reed Timmer's Andover footage. I wouldn't say 100%. I would say that there's a competition for the best tornado footage because I think every tornado is different and every video of a tornado is different, even if it's a video of the same tornado. But Reed Timmer's footage of the Andover tornado, both from the drone and from the ground, were incredible. Some of the best tornado footage ever. It's really hard to compete with that. Now, another video I would say is Heidi Farrar and Dave Demko's video of Moore, Oklahoma. They had the best shot, hands down, of the Moore, Oklahoma tornado. And just the sound that they captured from where they stopped their truck and recorded, the roar sounded like a continuous waterfall. And it's one of the most incredible and terrifying videos of a tornado I've ever watched. But yeah. I would pull it up and play it for you guys, if not fear for, copyright. I can't necessarily just stream somebody else's YouTube videos, so I apologize. But seriously, you know what? I'll go ahead and link it in the chat here. Heidi Farrar. Yeah, so this, I'm gonna link it in the chat for everyone. This is the most intense tornado footage I may have ever seen. You have to watch from 12:30 onwards. This is, boom. If you watch that video from 12 minutes and 30 seconds onwards, some of the most intense tornado footage I have ever seen in my life. That's probably one of the only videos that rivals Reed's video. Man, there's a lot of really great tornado videos out there, but Reed Timmer's video of Andover this year is one that, boom, immediately comes to mind when I think about some of the most incredible tornado. I mean, you watch Reed's video and you're just sitting there in awe, like, oh my gosh, It's incredible. And same with the video from Moore in 2013 that Heidi Farrar and Dave Demko recorded. That video, when I saw it, just the sound, the continuous roar of the tornado really hit me. Just to update everybody on what all is going on right now, our supercell that tracked through, what? Small tornado touchdown lifted multiple times. Oh, 7:45. Okay, so that's almost a half hour ago now. But yeah, you're welcome. If you have not seen that video, you absolutely must. It's a must watch for tornado videos. But so we did again have a confirmed tornado here about a half hour ago. That would be, where was that? 4 miles west. That was after Manhattan. So we may have had another tornado touchdown after our storm tracked south of Manhattan. But thanks for the timestamp on that video so we don't have to go through those first 12 minutes. Well, even the first 12 minutes of video is still pretty good. But in my opinion, the best part of that is towards the end. And it is sad and to think when you see all the debris that's in the air that those are houses. It's that's somebody's livelihood, their property, potentially their life. It's yeah, that's the tough part of watching that video, but I think it is the most incredible, awe-striking shot of the Moore 2013 tornado specifically. But yeah, in Junction City, you're in the kind of the core of the left split of this storm. So you're getting a lot of rain, potentially some small hail as well here, but yeah, I mean, right here, this big bowing area, this storm is still producing severe winds. I mean, like legit, JD just commented, the wind speeds in this are still 60 to 70 mile an hour. So although we don't have currently a tornado risk, this storm is still going to be doing some pretty hefty damage to Parkerville, Wilsey, possibly Council Grove as well. So yes, thank you for pointing that out. I was just about to say beforehand that yeah, this storm is still producing strong wind gusts. It does not currently have a tornado risk, but strong wind gusts for sure. And in Junction City, you're under a severe warning, and that's specifically for that hail that I was actually just discussing. So this whole blob right here near Junction City, yeah, near Junction City, you have some, not massive hail. It's about quarter-sized hail, so nothing major, but still could leave a mark or two on your vehicle if your vehicle's parked outside. So yeah, thank goodness our tornado risk has downtrended significantly. There are reports of 80 plus mile an hour wind gusts. Yeah, right here in the core, from Dwight to Parkerville to White City, I would not be surprised if you did have 60 to near 80 mile an hour wind gusts here in that sort of triangle of locations. For anybody who doesn't know, earlier we did have at least 3 tornadoes today. One touched down up here in Marysville, Kansas, north of Marysville, and then another one touched down near Blue Rapids, which looked like it could have been an intense, potentially significant tornado. We had another tornado touchdown north of Manhattan, and a spotter reported just recently that about a half hour ago there was another tornado south of Manhattan. So we could have had 4, maybe even more than that, tornadoes today. So was definitely a very active severe weather day, and I'm very fortunate for everybody that tuned in to the stream. I appreciate each and every one of you who has tuned in today. And footage does teach us a lot more about storms, though, and yes, that's very important. Video of tornadoes, like specifically, I'm gonna say Reed Timmer's video of Andover this year, is gonna go such a long way to research on how tornadoes cause their damage with both the horizontal wind speed and vertical wind speed. His drone video, where you can actively see the vortices lifting up, debris, again, that's gonna go such a long way for us studying tornadoes and really how to build houses that can better withstand tornadoes, and hopefully we can get better technology which can give us an even higher resolution picture inside of storms. Hopefully our forecasting models with artificial learning and intelligence can advance our lead time into predicting tornadoes more accurately. I mean, we've seen massive improvements in warning lead time, but even just the other day when I was live streaming on Wednesday and there were tornadoes on the ground, in Ohio, the National Weather Service was a little late to issue the warning. There was actively a tornado on the ground for nearly 5 minutes before the warning got issued, and I was very fortunate that I had noticed the velocity, I had noticed the correlation, so I confirmed from my own knowledge that yes, it looked like there was a tornado on the ground, even though the National Weather Service had not issued a tornado warning. With our advanced radars, you can see something like that, fairly, I wouldn't say fairly easily, but, it's a lot easier than it used to be years ago. But when in Texas, a man 2 blocks away was trying to build a new home, demolished twice by a tornado building. Poor man. Yeah. Man, that would just, having your home that you are building demolished before it's even finished, let alone not once but twice. Gosh. And hello, CSX. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, like being hit by lightning twice. I mean, that's like some people think that if you got hit by a tornado, it's like a 1 in 1,000 scenario. But for something like Moore, Oklahoma has been hit, even just in recent years, in the last 20 to 30 years, they've been hit 4 or 5 times. Were you tracking the storm in KC, like Kansas City, Missouri? I have been watching the storms out here in Missouri. But the main focus has been on the one storm that tracked near Manhattan, Kansas over here. And thankfully, our storms in Missouri are kind of struggling to realize a tornado potential. So from earlier this week. No, I was not tracking that one from earlier this week. I think that happens later in the night or earlier in the morning. I'm pretty sure it was overnight for me when it happened. But I had a tornado watch on Wednesday. Yeah, Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio. Man, and I kick myself for not chasing in Ohio. I'm from Ohio, born and raised, and of course this is my home state. This is where I chase, and I missed an incredibly photogenic tornado down south, just north of Dayton. Multiple photogenic tornadoes, even. So I've seen 7 tornadoes in my life, and all of them have been either short-lived or rain-wrapped and almost impossible to see. So we have a thunderstorm early tonight here in Conneaut. Yeah, Ohio has a couple summery bubbled up thunderstorms, but tomorrow and Monday will be the chance. I believe Monday we do have a chance for we're either going to get no storms or very, very significant severe weather. Mainly just wind, not necessarily tornadoes, but still significant severe weather. So just to let everybody know, we still do not really have much of a tornado risk on this storm. You can see how it's kind of fallen apart here as it has this tail that is kind of dissipating rain. Is anywhere North Bend or Windside, Nebraska? If you're asking if Nebraska is safe, Nebraska is most definitely out of the woods for severe weather. Yes, you should be safe. But the only location that could realize any severe threat is along this area of inflow here to this storm. But again, if you notice, look at how it's kind of falling apart. You have this long appendage here with this scattered rain falling, and this is just not really conducive to producing tornadoes, because you need that tight hook with that strong inflow winds. And right now your hook is very elongated and kind of has like a rear flanking gust front that's just pushing that inflow out. So yeah. Thank you everybody that's tuning in. I can't believe we are still, there's not any active tornado warnings right now, but we are still maintaining our highest concurrent viewers of the whole stream. Thank you everybody so much. I mean, we have 64 likes on the stream right now, which, that's, like I said, over double what I had on my last stream. I think I had 20 on the last stream. But the temperature will be back in the 90s Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday here in Ashtabula. Did the Cleveland Guardians win versus Oakland today? That's a great question. I don't know. Let's ask our phone. Cleveland Guardians score today? Oh, the Guardians were defeated. They lost today, sadly. But yeah, temperatures will be scorching Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday across much of the Midwest and the Dixie region. Like specifically, let's go ahead and take a look. My goodness, we're gonna have 100-degree temperatures across parts of, southern Ohio, southern Indiana, southern Illinois. Really high temperatures down here again in the hundreds from Texas, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky. It's going to be scorching, and the reason for that is we have a massive ridge setting up in our atmosphere. So this is an area of high pressure, this ridge that's building, and actually not full on too excited. I appreciate that I'm relaxing. I'm not like absolutely freaking out, but also the severe weather is pretty calm right now, so I don't have too much of a reason to be freaking out. But so yeah, about the really high temperatures, we have this ridge right in our atmosphere, which is an area of high pressure. This is going to be very hot temperatures, and our jet streak, which would usually track down, you would get these troughs, right, which would move east, and on the eastern ends of these troughs you would get severe weather. Well, when you have this massive area of troughing, you get more of a northwest flow regime, which means you could get severe weather mainly in the northern areas of the country is where the severe weather will be focused. And when you have these high pressure ridges, the temperatures in here are hot, very, very hot. So I just came on here. Somebody told me a tornado hit Topeka. I live in Lawrence. Will there be a tornado tonight in Lawrence, do you think? In Lawrence, Kansas. So let's go ahead and figure out exactly where that is. Lawrence, there you are. You're right here. Lawrence, you look like you're probably in the clear. You have storms here that are moving right along the Missouri and Kansas border, but these storms are probably going to struggle to really realize much of a tornado threat. You can see there's almost no wind speeds or any rotation in here of any concern. So yeah, in Lawrence there, you should be pretty comfortable to say, okay, most likely we're not going to be experiencing a tornado or much of the severe weather over here. The main threat right now, thank you, you're welcome. I appreciate the question. Thank you very much. So most of our concern right now is we have this area of damaging winds. This is why we have this severe thunderstorm warning. You can see 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and then you'll have these little pockets of probably some penny, maybe quarter-sized hail in these three areas. And Here, I'll go ahead and do a breakdown. We have a lot of people in the chat right now who are new, who haven't been here the whole stream. So we'll go ahead and explain for people who don't understand what we're looking at right here with all these reds, these greens, and the yellows. This is velocity. So with velocity, we can see this is wind speed moving away from the radar. Green is wind speed moving towards our radar. This is our radar right here. Now, if we get an area where red and green meet, right, you have an area of rotation because that's wind speed that is cycling in this direction. But you need that rotation to be tight, right? So even though we do have these wind speeds here, right along this, there is not much of a tornado threat because you need those wind speeds to be real tight and match up right in a close spot with one another. Now, this area of this bright color, the brighter colors is stronger wind speeds. So this is, if we put this here, you can see this is 80. It might be hard to see on stream because this is so tiny, but this is 80, 70, 60 mile an hour wind speeds. This is the main concern right now, is just wind speeds and hail from this storm as it moves south-southeast towards Strong City, Cottonwood Falls, Wilsey, Council Grove is included in there, Bazaar, Elmdale, Cedar Point. That's a fun place in Ohio. Cedar Point, Kansas, though. 2 weeks from now, I will be going to the Special Olympics Summer Game, June 24, 26, Columbus, Ohio. All you guys wish me good luck. Yeah, good luck, Rob. Man, that's awesome. 3 straight days of it as well. That's very cool. Glad to hear you're doing that. That's what life is about, doing things like that. You know, doing stuff that makes you happy and loving what you do, right? And again, thank you everybody that's joining in right now. Our tornado threat is very low at this point. We're losing daylight. These storms are losing energy and moisture. We could have a rogue tornado warning or two, but most likely our tornado threat is near zero for today. So for everybody who's here, I'm going to go ahead and do my spiel, I guess. My name's Rob. I'm from Ohio, and I've loved severe weather ever since I was, like 6 years old. I started this channel and I stream on this channel hoping that I can just educate and inform at least one person. Every stream that I do, like today, my only goal is to just, educate one person or hopefully inform one person on potential severe weather that's coming their way. So that way, hopefully, they can take the necessary precautions to protect, their life and their property. So if I can help one person out, then I've done my job. So, and I appreciate everybody that's come in here and liked the channel and has viewed. What county are you in? I'll just say I live in Northeast Ohio. So if you live up near the lake, I'm not too far off from that as well. For obvious reasons, I don't want to just give away my address necessarily, but yeah. Yep. I'm just trying to hope that I can help out even just one person. And while we're waiting, we're gonna go ahead and see if there are any pictures of damage here in Kansas or Nebraska. Okay, we are still looking. So yeah, I don't see any photos of damage, but we did have some major hail. This was earlier today. But Lord, look at the size of this hail here. This was near Beatrice, Nebraska. So this was near the Nebraska-Kansas border. This is the same storm that we've been watching all day. And it produced this right an hour before I started streaming. Absolutely incredible hail there. So thank you. That's credit to Alan on Twitter. So we are still looking to see if there's really anything like damage wise. So major straight line winds that went through Marysville. Some really incredible pictures of this supercell. Like man, we'll go ahead and show this real quickly. This was the storm that moved into Kansas. This is an incredible storm. That's credit to Casper Britton on whoops, I switched back and forth. Casper Britton on Twitter. Here we go. Manhattan, Kansas. Some damage. Here's pictures of damage. This is from Jacob on Twitter. You can see some roof damage, mainly roof damage, some damage to the windows, and tree damage right here. And this was from Manhattan, Kansas. And this right here is also from Manhattan. This is on the same road. So not extreme damage. And thank goodness it's not extreme damage. That's a positive thing. But it definitely looked like it could have been a much more serious situation based on the radar picture we were looking at. The radar picture was very scary, to say the least. Well, thank you everybody who has tuned in and made today's stream really incredibly special. Looks like near the K-State campus, the Kansas State campus. Is that here near Wilsey or Council Grove or Parkersville? Or Manhattan? Actually, Manhattan might be where K-State is at. I don't know. I'm from Ohio, so this is a little bit out of my jurisdiction. I know some of these areas solely because of, storm chasing and stuff. I know these locations. But yeah, Manhattan is where K-State. I think I've watched a couple Oklahoma versus K-State games on football games, college football, and I'm pretty sure I have seen it say Manhattan, Kansas before when they've been playing. So, but yeah, the only concern right now, again, this is our damaging wind here, pushing south through Wilsey, just on the west side of Council Grove and south of Parkerville. Really, there's not an extreme severe weather threat, but you still are going to have 60, 70, maybe even stretching up to 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Here near Wilsey, this is in Kansas, Wilsey, Kansas, Florence, Kansas, Strong City, Cottonwood Falls, Bazaar, Matfield Green, all these locations. Yeah, Kansas State. Kansas State and Manhattan. But yeah, I might be logging off here soon. My apologies. I'm going to answer a text real quick. Gosh, why did I misspelled Nebraska really bad. Do you hate that when you're trying to type fast and you type too fast for your brain to even keep up? But yeah, again, thank you everybody who came in, liked, subscribed. We're at like 75 likes, which is that's the most likes I've ever had on a live stream. Man, next time I hope to shoot for 100 likes on the live stream. That would be absolutely insane. Will we be your friend? Rob, I already consider us friends, and I hope that you do well at the Special Olympics there in Columbus. Really hope so. So, again, thank you very much, everybody. Like I said, the goal that I have of these live streams is just to, if I can educate, inform, or help just one person, then I've done my job. Yeah, we're probably going to be signing off for the night. These severe thunderstorm warnings will persist for a little while longer, but the main severe threat of tornadoes is gone, and these storms should wind down in intensity now as we go more through the night. I think that there's a pretty low chance that we would see any more tornadoes coming out of any of these storms. So, again, thank you all for watching and liking and subscribing. It's been the best stream I have had ever. So, yeah, of course. Thank you so much. Man, what a day. Been quite a day. So, now for me it is almost 10 p.m. and I have to go into work, and I leave work at 7 in the morning. So, be a long night for me, but you have to do what you have to do, right? So, again, thank you everybody so much. Have a wonderful night. And I'm sorry I couldn't be streaming longer. I have to go into work. So, yeah, but I almost don't even want to end the stream because of how awesome the stream's been. But yeah, I have to go because I have to work. But I hope to see everybody at the next stream, and I'm very, very happy. We're very fortunate the tornado risk did not pan out as bad as it looked like it could have. I hope that tomorrow morning we wake up with no injuries, no fatalities whatsoever. So, thank you all. Please stay safe. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you. See ya. Thank you for making this stream so special.